Apparently, Alex Jones went on Tim Pool's channel, like seemingly completely drunk. I want to see what happened here. Check this out.
And we know one of them was a man who yelled Allahu Akbar. The other attack on a synagogue, it is suspected to be Islamic terror. So the rumors going around are that we had 2 Islamic terror attacks, possibly retaliation over the war in Iran, which we had seen another terror attack in New York City, the throwing of an improvised explosive device, as well as the attack in Austin.
I'm not sure what he's referring to here. The only IED I'm aware of in New York City was the one made by Trump supporters, and they tried to use it on Mamdani.
So, of course, the expectation is, well, we don't have the complete information on the synagogue attack. It was a vehicle reportedly owned by a man from Lebanon who was naturalized and lived in Dearborn, Michigan. So many people are saying, hey, that,
Many people are saying, okay.
If it looks and sounds like a duck. With that happening, we also have the backdrop of a warning from Joe Rogan, UFC commentator, who said that it seems strange. They're going to do this big White House UFC event, for which we now got the fight card in June, with a war going on, because you're going to bring everyone together and create this very, let's just call it centralized location of top military brass, political personalities, and otherwise. And, well, I agree. Not necessarily that it's weird or, strange or anything, but that it is dangerous. I mean, it's a real target. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, of course, we have these terror attacks that happened earlier today. We'll go through the details on that one. And then, of course, the UK is officially over. They have ended their hereditary House of Lords, and they're removing their civic leaders from their currency to be replaced by the noble hedgehog.
Okay.
Perhaps a beaver and other nature scenes, because
that means they're over because they're changing the way the currency looks.
The British tradition is basically gone. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more, my friends. Before we do, get a great sponsor for you. It is Beam Dream.
Okay. No, thank you, good sir.
And so much more is the great Alex Jones.
Oh, boy.
The great. Who are you? What do you do?
I was thinking about Joe Rogan's fight right now.
What?
He's what? I'm sorry? He's thinking about what? I'm sorry. What the? Okay, go on. You have my attention.
It's a weird way to introduce yourself, Alex.
Well, Joe's like, I love Joe, but like, oh my God, we better not have an event. The terrorists might get us. We just give up and go away. We can't ever have a meeting.
A Rogan commentator, professional, he is.
No, I like Joe. I mean, a little bit, here. I'm surprised by Joe saying that. Like, oh, let's not have a UFC event.
Well, I don't think
the
he
Iranians
said
might
don't
get
have
us.
it.
I mean, I'm against the war, let's be clear, but let's keep the buses and the trains and the airplanes on time. Let's not the Iranians might get us. So
he's already swearing.
I'm already swearing. Got to follow every little AI rule. No, here's the deal. Let's all just hide in Joe Rogan's and then we'll all be safe.
Jesus. Good to have you, Alex.
Like
It's gonna be fun. We can already
giant
tell.
Joe Rogan
Is sitting
we all
next to
just
him.
fly up into it, and we're all safe.
I'm so confused by what's happening right now.
Safe and Joe.
Thanks for coming. Luke.
What an introduction. How do
You're
I top
dancing
that?
like safe under her black wings. I'm safe in Joe Rogan's big ass.
I'm just confused. I just don't understand what's going on.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Luke's here.
There's that. Yes. I don't know how
Don't
you
you have
got
that
that.
tonight?
Good to be here with some old
I
friends.
declare war on Joe Rogan. God has ordered me. Nah, I love Joe. It's Joe.
He's going to show up at your house.
Okay, I guess
Alex.
Luke's here.
Yeah. Hi guys.
In fact, how about I just take you all on right now? You guys are fucking tough.
He's definitely drunk, right? This is Alex Jones drunk off his fucking ass.
You guys, you're pretty tough. How about we just fucking fight right now? You're fucking real men. All of you. Come on, let's go. Every one of you. Let's go. Let's prove how fucking badass you are.
He is absolutely drunk.
Slug, let's go. You think you can fucking take me? Let's see what fucking
I don't
happens.
think I can take you.
No, you can.
You've been
Why don't
working
you
out.
fucking do it right now? Every fucking man in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go. 8. Let's go.
Robbie will fight you.
What would you do in this situation? I have no idea what I would do. Alex Jones drunk as a fucking skunk on my podcast. What does one do about that? He is in a fucking pickle right now.
I'm ready.
Robbie.
I'm ready. That's a big motherfucker over there. I'm ready for war. I'm ready for war. I'm ready to live in Joe Rogan's
Let's start with the news.
Hey,
I guess
Hey. I just gave you the most viral clip of the year to joke.
you're trying
It's
to.
comedy. I love Joe.
Yes.
Oh, I know.
I suck his every night.
It's just that. It's just
Lindsey
that
Graham, when he puts
we
that
try
foot-long
to be
dick-
family.
Why? Why? Please, no. Why is this happening? Why am I listening to this? I don't understand. It's a fictional scenario that is literally not physically possible, but it's so fucking disturbing still. Oh my God, please, no. I feel like Michael Scott from The Office screaming no over and over again. Just a reminder, I would really appreciate it if you guys checked out my Patreon. If you're not going to donate, you don't have to, but follow me there at the very least. owenmorgan.com/Patreon. Just in case something happens with the government or whatever. It would be really good if you had some way to connect with me and my content. I'm really concerned about that. And maybe you should consider that for other creators too.
Right in
Friendly.
Trump's ass.
No, we
Big
try-
old neocon.
Not tonight.
I
Not
just sit there
tonight.
and lube it up.
Just gonna get the show
I just
taken
like-
down.
I'm like the engineer. I'm like,
Get the show taken
Lindsay,
down.
Oh, Lindsay. And I watch like Rubio gets in, and then in comes Huckabee with his 12-foot, and they just boom, boom. And I'm just sitting there like, take
Huckabee's
care of
that hung, huh?
That's what I do. Oh God, Huckabee's an 18-foot. And I just lube up those cocks, those neocon cocks, and then Netanyahu comes in with that 80-footer.
I
And he
imagine-
just cures Trump.
I imagine Huckabee's watching, being like, "I'm kind of offended, but that is a compliment." Let's go to the
Huckabee has
news.
a
I am fucking horrified by what I just listened to. What is happening? Why? I don't understand.
Let's
Largest penis on Earth.
let's
You
start the
didn't know-
news.
You didn't know
All right,
it's
here's the
certified?
story. Here's the story from the Daily Mail. Joe Rogan fears White House will be targeted by Iran during UFC event. We have a short.
This is absurd. There is no chance this is happening. It's fear-mongering garbage. It would be the biggest mistake Iran ever made to attack America right now. I believe that they learned from 9/11. That's what happens when you attack the United States. You galvanize people against you. So no one is going to do that. But okay.
Clip for you. It's only 40 seconds, but we'll play it to give you the context of what Joe was talking about.
Are you excited for the White House card? That looks really good.
Yes. I'm excited. It sounds crazy. I know it's going to be very high security and high stress and weird to have a fight
He's thinking about
at the White House in the middle of a fucking war. But I would hope the war will be sorted out by June, but quite honestly, I'm not confident that that's going to be the case.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so that would be weird.
Yeah.
Having this very high profile event where everybody's in one place at one time right there.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
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 So you're not excited to be
Well,
there?
that seems like
Yeah.
seems like you're asking for.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I hadn't
Yeah.
thought of that at all.
How could you not think of that?
Well, because I'm
Literally
not
at
going
the
to
White
be
House.
there. You're the one that has to think of it. I was,
Because Joe Rogan is the goddess. His holy real.
I don't understand what his focus is and why it's on that of all things. This is just so weird.
It's a threat.
I am not really concerned about the White House itself. You know, of all the places we secure in this country, Iran's not going to do anything at the White
Yeah,
House.
no, I love Joe, but I mean that is a major statement.
He didn't say don't do it. He just said that it's going to be a target, and sure, it's just look. If Iran was going to
No, the real target is the neocons in Trump's butthole.
no.
Well, they're like that's the main target. Is like
Well, I mean,
Trump is a target.
Iran would
Actually.
much prefer to get rid of the neocons that are pressuring Trump to engage in war. For
you know
sure.
about Pastor Manning, right? The fiery butthole, right?
The what?
Burn, 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 burn.
I know.
He is fucking so drunk right now. He is out of his fucking gourd at the moment.
Yep, pull up Pastor Manning. It's
What
a
is it?
prophecy of Trump.
What's his name?
The prophet.
He's talking about, yeah, I know this actually. Hang on. Yeah, I think, is this what he's referring to?
Can I share this with you to all the sodomites that think that you're going to purchase this church in a foreclosure sale? Let me tell you something. Before you can ever own the Lord's house, because that's what this is.
That's right.
That this is the Lord's house. This ain't no damn bathhouse.
That's right.
This ain't no house. This is the Lord's house.
Amen.
And before you can ever own this property, hook or crook to own this property, you will be carrying men who are with testicles will be carrying babies in their testicles and giving birth to them through their anus. That's how impossible it is for you to get this house.
That's right.
This is Pastor Manning. And as you can see, I don't even know what to say next. I'm so fucking lost and confused, and I don't even know. All right.
When you start carrying a baby in your bags and birthing that baby through your ass, then...
Anyway, that's Manning. I think that's who Alex Jones is talking about. I'm just so goddamn confused by literally everything that has happened in the past 20 minutes. What the hell is going on, right? I just created a new website, firesidewatch.com. You can watch videos with friends, and everybody can play or pause the video. I made it so I could collaborate with other YouTubers, but I figured I might as well make it available to everybody. On top of that, you can add videos to the queue, upvote them, and sort by most upvoted. Give it a look, firesidewatch.com. And while you're at it, check out my Patreon, owenmorgan.com/Patreon. You can follow me there for free.
See if Trump?
I just had to have some fun. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's all humor. I love Joe Rogan. I love President Trump. My bottom line is this. You said start the show. Ruffin went live with, I love Rogan. Oh my God, this event, maybe we shouldn't have it. What the f*** are we talking about? If we're gonna...
You're not supposed to swear on Tim Pool's thing, I believe. You're supposed to avoid harsh language, and he just doesn't even care.
Blow the shit out of the fucking mullahs. Let's not worry about what they're going to do. Let's not cancel our boxing match. So I
agree.
But I mean, I get he's just being honest here. I'm in with Joe. I love Joe. All I'm saying is that I was against this war 12 days ago, and I said it's going to go wrong. They're going to block straight our moves. But I said once we're in it, because the mullahs are crazy or double down. Now they've done it. Now we stuck our wiener in the electric socket.
We did what?
So now we are committed, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My concern is that.
And there's now multiple reports of 2 ceasefires that Donald Trump tried to do with the Iranians, and the Iranians are saying, nope, we're not doing any of that.
Well,
complete bullshit. Fabricated from the ground up. These people lie like they fucking breathe. You're trying to tell me that Iran refused a ceasefire with the United States? Withdraw the fucking troops. It's that simple. Withdraw the troops.
I mean, he's the U.S. ambassador. I call him the Israeli ambassador.
Yeah. Do you know Abe Lincoln was dealing with this? He had a midterm coming.
He's dressed like Slash from Guns N' Roses. Why?
Up, or he had an election coming up with the anti-war Democrats were going to get into power and end the Civil War in a stalemate. So he was like, we have to do something drastic because we may lose our power. He issued Sherman to just burn everything and kill as many people as possible to end the war as fast as possible. So
talking about Sherman's march, are you familiar?
I don't think so.
Sherman was a general in the Civil War, and he basically went on a march to the sea, famously, from the north to the south, and tore up roads, destroyed civilian infrastructure, ruined everything, so that it would be difficult or impossible for the South to transport goods or anything like that. And it's viewed as one of the integral parts necessary for the success of the North, but also a war crime that we would never, ever do today because it's evil to destroy civilian infrastructure. And I can only assume this guy is saying that's what we need to do, destroy civilian infrastructure, right?
War in a stalemate. So he was like, we have to do something drastic because we may lose our power. He issued Sherman to just burn everything and kill as many people as possible to end the war as fast as possible. So worst case scenario, you see hell on earth be unleashed on the Iranian people before the midterms. I don't want to see it, but I mean, that's...
Yeah, I bet. I don't want to see it, I'm sure.
Trump said that. He said, I may destroy your whole country. They're like, well, I thought we're trying... Half of them don't want to be with us. It's a disaster.
Do you want to turn your camera a bit? You're pretty far to the right. A little more. All right. That'll do. Perfect.
That's why the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, like, I'm not a rocket scientist, but Eric Prince, a major hawk, said don't do it. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Kane, said don't do it because it's a roll the dice. You don't roll dice on stuff. You roll dice on your own money. You don't do it on stuff like this.
Well, you heard what Rubio said about why we got involved. Israel was going to make an attack on Iran. We knew that there would be a retaliation targeting the United States. So Rubio says we don't want to take a defensive posture, so we decided to go in with them. And
they had testimony in Congress 2 days ago confirming that.
Yeah.
So Israel made us do this. I don't. You know me. I'm not the guy with a hard on for Israel, but Israel should not be calling our shots.
Agreed. And I think Trump should have been like, "Good luck."
Yeah, because if they'd responded and attacked us, then we could have been like, hey, we have no choice now.
Exactly.
But this makes us look like an aggressor.
Exactly.
Makes us look like an aggressor? Is that what he just said? You think that we were not the aggressors? We just looked like it? I don't understand. What an absurd thing to say.
We should have taken the attack, then we'd be the victims. Then blow the shit out of them.
It's not, you know, and there's the challenge, right? Because that's, and you know this better than anybody, but the Project for a New American Century, when they, who was it who said that?
April 2020, we need a Pearl Harbor event to launch the New American Empire.
And then there was the quote that I think it might have been Rumsfeld saying, sometimes we need a terror attack to remind people of what we're protecting them from.
He said we need 3,000 dead.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, which is Pearl Harbor, which they had on 9/11.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge. I mean, if we did nothing and Iran attacked us, then we'd go in. And what Rubio said was then we'd be in hearings talking about how we knew it was going to happen and we didn't do anything to prevent it.
Well, I'll be honest. If there was a magic red button to send the Muslims to Mars, I'd hit it. But every time we do this, they just put the head of Al-Qaeda before Trump got in.
I mean, can we take that to mean that he would murder every Muslim on planet Earth? He gave a non-murderous solution to it, but he wants them gone from society, basically, right?
Yeah, he said, if I could get rid of every single Muslim.
I don't want every Muslim gone. I want Islam gone. If I could hit a button and convince everybody that they were being lied to, I would hit it for sure. But I don't want people dead.
In charge of Syria. Israel created Hamas. So here's the deal.
That's a little known fact. Did you know Israel created Hamas? You didn't? Basically, Hamas was a political party in the Middle East, like in Gaza or whatever. And Israel funded Hamas, the political party, because they were extremists and they wanted to cause chaos. And they wanted to create a reason for them to be there trying to fix things. They wanted to make a mess out of the Middle East so that they could sweep in as the heroes. So they funded Hamas in the early 2000s.
If we were actually fixing it, I'd be for it. Islam's cancer, but we don't fix it. We put worse Muslims in.
And we finance and we train them and we give them arms and we give them weapons and we give them the training. And
unvaxxed and still autistic. Is that what his shirt says? Are you kidding me? Look at this shirt. Unvaxxed and still autistic.
I kind of really like that shirt.
Such a stupid shirt.
I kind of really like that shirt.
As we know, of course, vaccines don't cause autism.
If I had an autism diagnosis, I would wear that shirt.
And then it bites us in the butt. And it's like, what did we think was going to happen here? Israel even came out today, and they're saying that this regime is unlikely to fall. Obviously, everyone knew this was going to happen. The war games were there, too.
They gave it a report a week before.
Yep.
And I was called a Qatari agent for reading the report that admitted this.
Yeah.
I have got no money from Qatar. I'm waiting for the money right now.
Okay. He's drunk. He's very obviously drunk. I don't know if it's easy to tell at this point, but in the opener, he was just... God, I don't even know. Schmoobly-gong, maybe that's the word that describes. It feels right.
There's also rumors that the son of the Ayatollah is already dead.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in a coma at least. Because the Israelis have not lied about who they've killed.
But the rumors in Israel is that he's dead.
Well,
and there's just no official reporting.
There's one thing Israel tells the truth about is who they killed. They said we killed the Ayatollah a week and a half ago. It was true. And they said, well, this guy's in a coma. I believe it.
So it's Israel saying he's in a coma.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right. Well, there was rumors last week, we had talked about it, that he got wounded, he's fine. Then they said they amputated his leg. He didn't show up for his own coronation ceremony or whatever. Now they're saying he's in a coma. I would not be surprised if in 2 or 3 days they're like, yeah, he's dead. And the reason...
I think he probably is dead.
I don't know for sure, but I think they do have good reason strategically.
Well, they dropped 30,000-pound bombs on you.
Right. But the Iranian government's not going to want to admit that the United States has repeatedly just killed all of its leaders, its new leader, and wiped out their government. That and the people might actually revolt and the chain of command breaks down. So they're going to say, no, he's alive. Here's a statement to keep the confidence going that they exist, to try and outlast Trump because Trump's politically vulnerable right now. But I think it'll be concluded in a few weeks if Trump really does escalate bombing campaigns. And that doesn't mean we win. It doesn't mean the government is over. What I'm saying is we may stop striking. They may stop striking, but nothing may be resolved.
No, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, here's the deal. I want an exit strategy here.
There's no exit strategy because there was no enter strategy. Like, they went in half-cocked for absolutely no reason and started this war with no justification, no preamble, no lead-up, no propaganda or any of that. They just went in and started bombing them. It's absurd.
I would love to get rid of the mullahs. I said when it started 12 days ago, I said, it started, I think it's not going to work. I hope they fail. I hope they fall right now. But it didn't happen. But I'm not a rocket scientist. The chairman.
Yeah, knock me over with the feather. Really? You're not? Okay.
I would never be able to tell.
Color me surprised.
The Joint Chiefs and all the other reports told him it probably wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And my listeners are like, you're a Qatari agent. No, like the Pentagon said, don't do it because it's a roll of the dice. And
Okay, that's the second time he's brought up the fact that people are accusing him of being a Qatari agent. I had never considered it before, but I am now considering it.
What's up with all this, like, the Israel stuff?
That's retarded. I've never been to Israel, nothing to do with Israel. Anytime I'm like, people are like, it rained today, Israel did it. I'm like, well, no, it's just, it's like.
You know, the reason I ask you is because you've got more experience in the independent media space, particularly when it comes to government conspiracy, psychological operations, and all that.
More experience. Okay.
You know, you've been here longer than anybody else. And then all of a sudden, over the past 6 months, there's been this dramatic shift online where now everyone's just talking about Israel doing everything all the time. Like all the conspiracy stuff that you've talked about when it comes to liberal economic order, you know, Project for a New American Century, all that is just gone now. No one cares. None of that exists. It's just Israel did it.
It's because Qatar doesn't lie about it. They spend like $20 billion a year on this. And so it doesn't mean that stuff about Israel isn't true. They have changed the whole subject into that instead of China and the EU trying to censor Americans. So I like, hey, the EU's trying to arrest Elon Musk with huge.
Dude, he's slurring. He is so drunk.
Fines. Or Brazil, shut up, Israel. So it's kind of like a public woke up like a baby duck, kind of imprints on the first thing it sees. So the public woke up, and so the Muslim Brotherhood, which Qatar funds, said, oh, the first thing you see is Israel, which Israel deserves in many ways, but it's also retarded because now the baby duck woke up and all it sees is Israel.
Yeah.
And so it's retarded.
Bro, I'm sorry. I have no idea what he is talking about, right? A baby duck imprinting, waking up. Who is the baby duck in this analogy? I'm so lost.
He's so drunk that he can't even pretend to like make sense with his analogies. It's so bad.
I'm so confused by this.
Yeah, the conversation I often have about it is that, like, certainly criticize Israel for their machinations and whatever they're trying to do, but there's a whole bunch of other foreign policy and special interests around the world that the U.S. is involved in that has nothing to do with the Middle East.
Well, exactly. I'll cover China running like half the Democrats with proof, and half the comments are, why covering up for Israel? It's like they don't. I cover like, literally like there were fires and floods in Texas a few months ago, and half the comments were, why cover for Israel? There's like can't cover a flood, can't cover a fire, can't cover. It's just Israel, Israel, because it's all they know, and they think that's the secret thing. That's the special little treat.
I think social media is doing it on purpose. And the reason people think this is because it's being blasted into their feeds 24/7, which triggers other people to blast it out.
I agree. The system wants this clash. That's what I explained. Like,
well, they want to divide and conquer people. They want people fighting each other based on superficial differences. The first thing I kind of think about here is Cass Sunstein, Obama's information czar. He literally wrote the white paper on disinformation, and he talked about how he needed to hijack legitimate criticism by making it seem crazy. He literally wrote the book. He was also connected to Epstein, too.
He said we'll discredit it.
He'll discredit.
What is the? Oh, I can pause now. What side is this guy on? He has like unvaxxed but still autistic shirt, which implies that vaccinations don't cause autism, which is kind of against them. But he's also sitting here like, oh, and also he's connected to Epstein.
I think that they are all anti-Israel. They're all also anti-vax. And generally, I don't know why he has that shirt.
Yeah,
there must be some kind of an underlying story behind it. And they're all kind of neo-Nazis generally.
It by putting out fake actors out there that will make theories that sound really crazy, so you destroy any kind of legitimate criticism or question.
And then Nick Fuentes, who's critical of Israel, is banned from YouTube, and Candace Owens is put up on the front page.
Yeah.
Well, but here's my deal. People ask why I attack Candace Owens. She says ice melts at 30 degrees.
Have you seen the Candace Owens stuff?
I've seen a lot of Candace Owens stuff.
Where she's claiming that Israel is responsible for murdering Charlie Kirk or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so these people do not, they're kind of on the fence with Candace Owens. I don't remember where I'm going in this game, and I just got a clue, and I was not paying attention.
I keep seeing it seems a little fake and gay stuff from Candace Owens.
Yeah, that's like one of her favorite sayings.
My friends also started quoting that.
Yeah.
I have weird friends.
And she says, I'm a time traveler. I mean, it's just like.
Charlie was a time traveler.
Yeah, he was a time traveler. Exactly. I'm just like.
Has she?
I'm like.
Yeah, I think she said that.
That Charlie Kirk is a time traveler?
Let's find out.
Charlie Kirk's a time traveler. He wouldn't have been shot. He would have known.
Charlie Kirk. I think one of the big things that she's doing right now is claiming that she and Charlie Kirk were capable of astral projection.
Oh, how does Erica feel about this?
God, who knows? She's been attacking Erica Kirk a lot lately too, so.
Probably jealous of her. I think Erica Kirk has something with JD Vance.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear for sure. Yes, apparently Charlie Kirk was killed in September 2025, and by January 2026, Owens claimed on her podcast that Kirk told her he was a time traveler and knew he would die young, saying it's an absolute fact. Charlie Kirk thought he was a time traveler. He told me he was a time traveler repeatedly. Goes much further than that, apparently. This is all on the Jerusalem Post, by the way. She also claimed that agents surrounding Kirk throughout his life knew he would die young, and that those same agents sent Kirk to an X-Men school because his mother wouldn't allow them to drug him. She also told listeners she'd responded to Kirk by saying she thought she herself was an alien from another planet because this planet is ghetto, quote unquote, and connected her love of cats to this belief, claiming cats also think humanity is ghetto. God,
You
it's
guys
so
should-
stupid.
You guys should watch, if any of you like musicals, you should watch Ride the Cyclone. There's a scene in that musical where one of the characters insists that he's actually an alien from another planet, and you want to know what the planet is? It's full of cats.
That's painfully stupid.
And also, apparently, Candace Owens' core.
The broader framing connects all of this to Project Looking Glass, a conspiracy theory about a secret CIA time viewing program linked to the Mandela effect. Owens offered no documents, dates, or witnesses to back any of it up, quote unquote. That's from the Jerusalem Post. Wow. Okay.
I'm not even saying I trust TPUSA. I'm not saying they're going to cover up of Charlie Kirk, but I cannot buy Mitch Snow with a hammer, convicted of beating his wife with a hammer, and then he puts a story out. She attacked me with a hammer, and Candace goes with it and raises him $200,000. And I'm just like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's just crazy.
Alex Jones says, I'm not gonna lie.
While
I should
drunk.
put that on my soundboard. What?
While drunk.
Yeah.
Let's jump to this story. We got this video that's going viral.
Yeah, they just moved on.
Can you put that on your soundboard, and every time he lies and says something crazy, you gotta...
It wouldn't be easy to put it on the soundboard. If, maybe later I'll grab it.
Like, it's just crazy.
Let's jump to this story. We got this video that's going viral from Mario Nawful. He says, Netanyahu, quote, "We will make it to the return of the Messiah, but this will not happen next Thursday." And so this video has been making the rounds, of course, since it got 400,000 views. And there was an article written a few days ago, Israel is gripped by messianic fervor for a biblical war. Now, there's another video that's massively going viral where everyone's saying that he said return of the Messiah, as if to imply he believes in Jesus Christ. When you actually...
No, he's Jewish Messiah.
No, it says return. The Jews believe the Messiah has not come. So if Netanyahu says the return...
Interesting. So Netanyahu is pandering to Christian Zionists then, is what's happening, right?
Return of the Messiah, that means he thinks the Messiah has already been here.
Did he say that?
So here's what I've found in the transcript. When you ask for a translation through Grok or whatever, it says in Hebrew, in what he is speaking, it can be paraphrased either way, as in the...
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then. So this is Christian Zionists using this phrase dishonestly, is what it is then, right?
I also appreciate that who's this dude that's speaking right now?
This is Tim Pool.
When Tim Pool said, because he said the return, he thinks that the Messiah's already been here, the response was, did he say that? Where'd he say that? When it's like right on their screens.
Yeah. Well, Alex Jones is drunk, so he
Yeah.
probably isn't even aware that there's a screen there.
No,
Who
Alex
knows?
Jones, my king, questioning Tim Pool.
Yeah.
The era of the Messiah or the return of...
Well, David
Return of
was
your
the
choice.
Messiah, so he returns.
No, David was not a Messiah.
Jewish law.
They do believe that David was a Messiah?
He was the art. Yeah, he was the precursor.
I thought they haven't had their Messiah yet.
No, but it's all... David was the Messiah. He returns.
Well, either way,
No, he was not a Messiah. David was king, not Messiah. Messiah in Hebrew simply means anointed one and referred to anyone ritually anointed. The concept of Messiah or the Son of Man, this is why they used the term Son of Man instead of anointed one, because it meant a specific person. Today, when they talk about the Messiah coming, they mean the Son of Man. So anyway, yeah.
That is a component of why people have been sharing this clip quite a bit. But this plays into one of the theories. It's kind of interesting. This video is coming out now. There are a lot of people that are suggesting.
I haven't seen this yet.
Oh, no. I mean,
well, shut up and let them play it. My God, drunk Alex Jones, you're insufferable.
Study the Old Testament. Everything's a precursor. So,
yeah.
David.
I don't know why he's disagreeing with his friend so hard here. I understand he's drunk, but he's just like, his friends are sitting here, and this is the conspiracy theory, and trust me, guys, it's so real. And he's like, but it's not because of this thing that I just made up.
Makes you want to wring the dude's neck. My God, dude.
Study the Old Testament. Everything's a precursor. So,
yeah. David
is the precursor to the Messiah.
Yeah, it says that the Messiah will come from David's family line.
Yeah.
Well, so then again, my understanding is that return is just translation.
David.
So, indeed, what's interesting about this is
Anyway, sorry.
He just wants to move on, and Alex Jones will not shut up. I love that.
The reason why this is picking up steam is that one of the theories amongst those who believe Israel runs everything is that they're trying to make everyone hate them because they have to go to war with the world in order to trigger the return of their Messiah. So if there really is this, as this article said, messianic fervor, and then you get Netanyahu literally saying we will make it to the return of the Messiah, but not by next Thursday, a lot of people are jumping on this and saying, straight from the man's mouth, they are doing a lot of this.
I think that it's not all the Jews, but certainly there's different Jewish interests that get, when they're attacked, they get more power. Netanyahu has been indicted. Netanyahu would be in jail right now. And so,
why isn't he?
I mean, him being under attack, he stays in power.
Well, he's obviously not in jail right now because he isn't going to places where he would be arrested by the International Criminal Court. But okay.
I'm not going to judge him. His weird Supreme Court battles. It's all so confusing. See, I just say I do the answers. It's so confusing. I don't know. But definitely they are invoking this messianic stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think he's like creating war to stay in power? I mean, I'm not saying you're saying this, but that he would be creating war to stay in power.
He said 3 years ago, or 2 years ago when they did October 7th, he said, we'll look at why there was a stand down later once the war's over, but the war never ends.
Yeah. Wars are meant to be continued, and there's a lot of soldiers that are literally talking about this being a holy war for them, so they could bring in the Third Temple. Albert Pike talked about a lot of this stuff. 1871, he wrote a letter about World War III.
Are you familiar with the Third Temple stuff?
And it's absolutely crazy.
1871, he wrote about World War III.
Yes.
What?
That's before either World War I or World War II. That's funny. World War I was 1914. World War II was 1939.
So he knew they were going to be the first two. You didn't tell anybody about it?
No, he talked about World War I. He talked about World War II, and then he talked about World War III. And he talked about the Jews fighting the Muslims in this world that will bring in the demon, will bring in the kind of demonic order.
Okay, it sounds like he's just got a screw loose, right?
So this is. I mean, I've been talking about this for about 12 years. I did a video with David Icke about this.
I'm sorry, real quick, just don't forget what you're
Not David Icke. Do you know David Icke? He's the guy who popularized the lizard people conspiracy theory that Jews are lizard people who transfer into like human bodies to control the world.
Do all of these people watch Doctor Who and think that it's like a documentary?
I think Doctor Who is based off of the conspiracies that these people are repeating. Yeah.
To say Albert Pike's statue was torn down by anti-racism protesters in the George Floyd riots.
Of course, not a surprise there at all. But a lot of people believe that this is prophecy being kind of that we're kind of living through this as it's being played out right in front of our eyes.
Is the demon the AI technocratic overstate?
Who knows?
Well, you were advocating for it yesterday, Ian.
And that's my point. Is that
AI judges?
I literally don't hate Jews. Like, I don't sit there with a big heart on and like I fall on a banana peel playing Jews. But now Israel is literally doing every step you can to make it all about Israel, which is not. It's China and the EU and all these powers, and it's just like constantly, oh, we're here. No, we're the. It's like I'm smart enough to go like, what's going on here? Like
every country has their own interests, and people that.
This is the singer from the band All That Remains. Do you know that band? It's an old punk / metal band from like the Breaking Benjamin era, and Maroon 5. Do you know them? Yeah, he's from the same era. He's very famous.
I think that everything is about Israel they're totally overlooking the fact that every country has their own interests, they have their own agency, and they have their own plans. There are times where like the U.S. interests and Israel's overlap, but it doesn't mean that Israel's in control of everything.
But to that point, I understand what you're saying, Alex, that they are trying to take the spotlight in all of these affairs.
Exactly. Israel wants the attack because then there are people who get behind them. So it's not like Israel's involved in all the bad stuff, but they're like, okay, we'll be the villain. It's just like I'm just like.
I actually think if you take a look at the latest media moves over the past several months, like the purchase of CBS and TikTok, there is a
by Larry Ellison and his son, billionaire takeovers of media, basically.
What did you used to call it, Alex? Problem, reaction, solution. So
Larry Ellison buying it up.
Whether it's intentional or otherwise, you have this burst of anti-Israel and, quite honestly, a lot of anti-Semitic content. Then this triggers prominent, wealthy millionaires and billionaires, Jewish and otherwise, to buy up these platforms to ban that content.
Interesting. Well, they're not just banning anti-Semitic stuff. They're banning any criticism of Israel at all as a country. And they're banning mention of ICE. They're reconfiguring TikTok entirely to benefit Donald Trump specifically, which is part of the deal.
So in essence, by having this large burst of anti-Semitic or anti-Israel content, you then create the circumstances by which you can get powerful interests to shut those things down completely.
100%. You just said it. And I don't know what the end game is. I'm just like, I'm against Israel trying to start a nuclear war, but I'm also not against Israel. I'm just like, man, I'm done. Like, I'm
fairly ambivalent. Foreign affairs is foreign affairs to me. It's crazy to me that there are people hyper for and against. No, I understand why people would be for it, especially if you're Jewish and you're Israeli. But the fact that there are so many people in the United States who are for and against it who are neither, that's strange to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, we can talk about China all day.
Now see how Iran, because they're willing to kill their own people. 2 days ago, I said Iran is belligerent. They're at bold. And I was like, oh, you're a Qatari agent. I haven't got the check yet. My point was they don't care. They're willing to die. So I'm saying, like, what do you do when you're faced with this?
Yeah.
Like, this is cuckoo town. Like, what?
Alex Jones says this is cuckoo town.
I have a question for you, because again, I think you'd know this better than most people, but we've talked about the U.S. motivations for going against Iran, and it largely has to do with the Strait of Hormuz, the 20% of oil and gas flowing through from the Gulf states, and the U.S. maintaining its economy on the petrodollar. So my position, my view of this is the U.S. looks at Iran as a disruptor of international oil trade, for which we tell our customers, you use dollars to buy oil, we'll police the seas. Iran tells us to shove off, funds militias, Houthi rebels, they bomb cargo ships. So the U.S. says this has to stop. I'm curious if you agree or how do you see it?
No, that's it. I mean, that's it. And my point is, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs told Trump, they've got a whole army right there. Even if we blow them up, they can block the strait. And that's 25% of the oil. So it creates a crisis.
Yeah, this is a well-known problem that Iran has been threatening if they're attacked, they're going to do for many years. And if they didn't know that they were going to close the Strait of Hormuz, then they are stupider than I thought.
Trump's like, well, we'll fix it in a year. Yeah, a year. Trump's whole plan to fix inflation is based on cheap energy. So this messes him up. So he's not thinking. Yeah. That's why he's suddenly like, oh, God, end the war. Oh, God, yeah. Which I agree with. Like, yeah, dude, this ain't like just blow some stuff up. So again, I actually wish the Muslims would all go away. I want Israel to be free. I'm not even. My sick thing is I get nothing by being nice to Israel. I'm not. I've never been to Israel. I'm not in Israel's team. But I don't want to blow up the Jews. I don't want to blow up Israel. I'm just like.
Yeah. So I feel like one of the big problems here is that they're conflating Jews with Israel and turning it into an ethno state. It is an ethno state, self-declared as such by Israel, but it shouldn't be. And because I don't like Israel doesn't mean I don't like Jews.
stop using us in these wars to expand your power. And then Israel's like, oh, greater Israel, I saw these clips like, we're going to take over the whole Middle East. And I'm just like, with us paying for it? So I'm like, you're making me come out against you. Stop it. That's where I'm at with Israel. It's like, stop. It's crazy.
Well, the problem is, if we want to maintain the petrodollar, which puffs up our economy, we have to force everybody in line, and this is why you get these regime change wars. Yeah. It's why you get.
We already have that all in line. Israel,
not with Iran,
has already defeated all its enemies. Like when they were attacking the last few years, I'm like, great, Israel defeated the Lebanon, the Hamas, in Gaza. Great, that just adds to the megalomania. So see, they've already beat all their enemies. Did you see the Israeli former prime minister said, well, when we're done with Iran, Turkey's next. Turkey has the biggest military in Europe.
You cannot hit Turkey. That is a NATO ally. If you hit Turkey, everybody is going to turn on you and will be legally obligated to attack Israel. That is the last thing you want to do. Not to mention the fact that they have the, what's it called? The Samson doctrine, where if Israel is in danger of not being a state anymore or losing power over this region, they will drop a nuke on everything and everybody. That's an actual doctrine in their legal code.
We're ready, Turkey.
Turkey's also a member of NATO, which, I mean, I personally, I'm not a fan of Turkey being in NATO, but like, if Israel attacks...
either, but like, now Israel wants us to...
I'm actually a big fan of
that
Turkey.
ain't happening.
They got great baklava. They got these things called Islak burgers. They're lamb burgers that you dip in like an oily tomato sauce.
I'll never forgive
the Turkish government. We can complain about.
Well, never forgive them for giving us. You saw this on Fox News, and you saw Rupert.
I'll never forgive them for giving us Hassan Piker. They're talking about Israel. I'm sorry, they're talking about Turkey. Is what I meant.
Murdoch actually, through all the kind of news organizations push, we have to go to Turkey. Turkey's a threat. Turkey's not agreeing. Turkey's
the Bosphorus is extremely important.
Yeah, so they already have a new enemy. It's like
exactly.
The U.S. has to get out of NATO for
that. Now we're going to fight the biggest army in Europe.
But guys, think of all the Turkish delight we'd get.
Like I said,
no, we wouldn't. We would bomb the crap out of them, and there'd be no delights for anybody. There would be nothing.
There would be no army in Europe.
Yeah, and then Pakistan also is another thing.
Why is Israel, their former prime minister, they're on TV, Turkey, you're next. It's like, because he's like, fine, Israel, I'm against Israel.
Seriously, why do these people muse casually over bombing all of these countries and then expect Trump to get the Nobel Peace Prize? He wanted the Nobel Peace Prize. You know why he wanted that? Because he likes to corrupt everything that he touches. He was looking for an opportunity to corrupt the one thing that he knew that he couldn't get.
But if you want to kill yourself, go fight this dude. But it's like Mike Tyson. Like, I'm like an 80-pound dude. Like, Mike Tyson, I'm going to kick your ass. Yeah, but Turkey has this giant military, and Israel knows we're going to back them.
No way,
dude.
No way, not.
Not against a NATO member.
Yeah, it's not.
You saw Israel's teeing Turkey up.
For sure. But that they're going to find the line.
Yeah.
Well, Bibi just announced today that Israel isn't just going to be a regional power, but a global superpower. When you're a global superpower, as Bibi announced, you're going to have to.
All their newspapers say we control the U.S. They say it. So now we run the world like cuckoo town. If you actually ran things, shut up.
If they're
I agree.
If they're talking about Turkey, that means next after Turkey, they're going to talk about taking over Spain and taking over Morocco so that they can control Gibraltar for that western seaport.
Exactly.
That is insane. I'm not actually sure that Israel said anything about controlling Turkey. I would be surprised because they're a NATO ally, and coming up against NATO is a totally different beast.
I personally don't think that any of that is going to happen because
that's what I'm saying. It's cuckoo.
So, yeah, it is crazy.
It's cuckoo.
Yeah, it is.
Let's jump to the story and bring it back domestically. We've got this from the Post Millennial. Old Dominion shooter Mohammed Jallow shouted Allahu Akbar as he opened fire, says the FBI. FBI has confirmed he shouted the phrase right before firing his gun. So for those that haven't...
And by the way, he was convicted in 2016 of being an ISIS operative. Yeah. Why the hell was this guy not in a Supermax?
I have no idea what they're talking about here.
Like how you said, hell.
Yeah. I'm trying to be nice. Like, I mean, come on, baby.
It was good.
They say the dead Old Dominion shooter, Mohammed Jallow, shouted Allahu Akbar right before he opened fire on students. This was at Old Dominion University in Virginia, I believe, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
They say that FBI authorities also called the shooting an act of terrorism. And this isn't the only one. We also have that synagogue story, which we'll get to in a minute.
Another Muslim.
Yeah. So my
point is, how he was convicted.
Well,
so let's find out what this is about, if this is real.
Christians also commit crimes. I don't know if they're aware of that. And Christians also say, like, their crimes are for God. So they're sitting here saying, oh, and it was another Muslim, and oh, Muslims are evil, blah, 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 blah. But, like, Christians do the same thing.
Mohammed Jallah. But we'll find out what this is about. Let me just look this up.
Well, here's the question. You all right? How is this happening? Is the U.S. government letting it happen?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, even the Trump.
They put that Al Qaeda in Syria.
Well,
we replaced Al Qaeda with Al Qaeda. I mean, how much money did we spend on that? And plus, the Trump assassin, by the way, the FBI shipped him into the United States. Not a lot of people know this. And
wait, which one?
The one that they caught recently. He's really Pakistani. He had an Iranian wife, but literally
the guy they said that was going to kill Trump.
Right. So Jallo basically provided material support to terrorists. Basically, he sent them money, and he spent 11 years in prison for sending them money. Suddenly, money is not free speech. That's interesting. It is free speech when they want, when billionaires want to donate to super PACs to fund political campaigns, but it's not free speech when people are funding terrorists. Okay. Guess it doesn't cut both ways. Anyway, the point is he served 11 years in prison for this, went in 2017, released in 2024, served roughly 8 years of an 11-year sentence. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Both plots were CIA hired lunatics.
Yeah, but this guy in particular, this guy that shot, that committed the attack at the Dominion, at Old Dominion, he was a product of a failed Justice Department. They should have put him in jail forever. They
put him in jail for 11 years for his speech, according to the Supreme Court. So, yeah, I don't know what they expected.
It wasn't like the U.S.
Yeah, he was convicted of an ISIS operative.
Yeah, he should have been in a Virginia prison for the rest of his life.
Or just not in this country.
Fair enough. But I do want to point...
He was convicted as an ISIS operative.
Yeah, hold on.
Bro, you have literally said that 3 or 4 times now. Everybody heard that the first time. Thank you.
Or just not in this country.
Fair enough. But I do want to point...
He was convicted as an ISIS operative.
Yeah, hold on. I want to point out an ROTC guy stabbed him and took the guy that that killed. He got killed by a dude with a knife in the
and you got some badass.
That kid needs
badass killed
that kid needs a valor commendation.
I agree. We want him.
Absolutely.
America, talk about Team America.
Hell yeah.
But the CIA has a history of bringing these guys in. Look at the 9/11 hijackers. They were denied visas into America, and then Michael Springmeier at the Jeddah consulate literally came out and said, "I was forced to allow these guys into America because the CIA."
I'm sorry, I don't buy that for a second. You're telling me you think the 9/11 hijackers were prevented from coming into the country and there's a CIA conspiracy to allow them in anyway? Please.
Brennan. Yeah. I interviewed Springman. Yeah. Brennan ordered him to let all the hijackers in.
Fine, but there's no evidence that this guy was actually brought in by the CIA. And with 4 years of an open border and with the policies that the left has been, he could have got in. Actually, no, he was here in 2016. So this probably was during President Obama.
Yeah, he was ISIS operative.
Yeah, so this was during.
How the fuck is? Excuse me.
This falls on Obama's
ISIS
shoulders.
Operative still running around.
He should have been in jail forever.
If you're thinking ISIS, your balls get cut off.
Do you think this is an inside job?
No, I think these liberal judges, here in Austin, it's all run by Soros. The other guy shoots 5 people and let him go the next day.
Yeah,
they're not in Austin. That's where Alex Jones lives. They're in West Virginia, where Tim Pool lives. Why did he say that just now? Is it because he's just straight up drunk?
Why are they letting him stay on?
I don't know. I guess it would be a big thing if they ended the show early. Maybe if Tim Pool said, "Oh no, I got a big important text. I got to end the show. I'm sorry. We'll have you back tomorrow," or something like that. Maybe that's what I would have done if I were in that situation. I don't know.
It's all run by Soros. The other guy shoots 5 people and let him go the next day.
Yeah, there was a.
Oh my god, dude! Soros is the ultimate boogeyman for these people.
A video's been going viral where a guy was drunk driving and he crashed into a vehicle, killing this man's daughter and grandparents. This was in the UK, I think, and the female judge got him off on like community service or something. So the dude threw a chair at her, I guess. I think this is
I don't think that's no. He's not relaying that correctly. If it's the case I'm thinking of.
I think what's her name? Helen Andrews, is that the woman? Talks about the feminization of our institutions. You're getting Soros is propping a lot of these individuals up, so it's ideological as well. But
please, God, the ultimate boogeyman. They're always talking about Soros.
Stockholm syndrome. Oh, you me, I turn you loose.
They're releasing all of these criminals, and I think you make a good point, because this is something that people have warned about for the past several years. This is what's going to happen when you keep releasing criminals. You get an ISIS guy and they say, give him a second chance. So what does he do? He goes and shoots a bunch of people.
They didn't give him a second chance. He spent 8 years in prison. He served his term. He didn't do anything for ISIS aside from use his free speech as the Supreme Court views it. So I can't even believe he got 8 years, honestly.
People.
What's that? I saw a video today where a 16-year-old's driving reckless on a moped in traffic, 80 miles an hour, and the cops arrest him. And I see 50 videos where they pull over an illegal alien, does not turn the lights on their 18-wheeler. And they go, you can go, you're an illegal alien. It's like, what the hell is this?
Do you hear about the guy? I think he got 10 years for cheating in a fishing contest.
Yeah.
You heard the story? He was putting weights in his fish, so they convicted him. It's like fraud, 10 years or something like that. I don't know what the actual charges were. But
okay, that sounds made up. Let's find out.
Or like exaggerated.
No need to wonder, just loaded up our question gun. Let's go answer hunting. Happened earlier this month, apparently. Wow, couple of important nuances though. Curtis Lee Daniels was arrested and charged with fraud in fishing tournaments after Texas game wardens performed a necropsy on his bass and found 3 weights in the fish's stomach that showed no signs of erosion, suggesting they'd been placed there recently. Weights of the same style and size were also found in his boat. The 10 years thing needs context, so apparently, because the prize was greater than $10,000, the charge is a third-degree felony, meaning he faces 2 to 10 years in state prison and fines of up to $10,000. That's not surprising. That's not the sentencing range. He'll probably get 2 years probation at most. That's fair. That's a felony for at best, like grand larceny, I think. Is that what it said? Grand larceny? That's what that would be. That's not that surprising.
But yeah, our system is great. Then if you have a crooked toenail, you go to prison. I'm like, hey, I want molesters, I want bank robbers, I want child molesters dead. Once you've done with them, then you can worry about cheating on a bass fishing.
Here. Texas fishing cheating scandal, why a man could face 10 years for allegedly tampering with bass.
He's not going to face 10 years. I've said this before, but I have been in trouble with the law in similar ways when I was younger. When I was an addict and I was a complete mess, I got myself in trouble as well. And my sentence was 1 to 10. And I was lucky in a lot of ways. The judge, going into it, basically I wrote up a plea agreement with my lawyer and with the prosecutor and everything. And they agreed to 1 year probation, slap on the wrist, instead of the full 10-year sentence. But the judge that I was working with was running for election for the first time and had the choice of throwing out my plea agreement completely and sentencing me to 10 years in prison if he wanted. He accepted the plea agreement, but my attorney told me at the time that was a possibility. It's scary, man. The whole thing was very, very scary. But anyway, the point is I got a year on probation. I served it with flying colors and moved on with my life and became a contributing member to society. That's generally how first offenses go. And that's probably what's going to happen with this guy. Probably 2 years probation because he actually tried to steal tens of thousands of dollars. That's a felony. That's no joke. That's serious.
Maybe it's worse than any of us realize, but it's a terrible headline when you have an ISIS guy get released and then go commit a terror attack. And
I mean, the ISIS guy served 8 years in prison, and he wasn't stealing tens of thousands of dollars. He was providing tens of thousands of dollars. They're just not comparable situations at all, is the issue here, obviously.
Guy who was cheating.
ISIS guy goes, kills people, and you're worried about a bass.
That's literally what Tim Pool said just now, Alex. Thank you for repeating what he just said verbatim.
Exactly.
man.
I'm like, what is this, Luke?
It's insanity.
Oh, it was in Texas too.
It's probably intentional. I bet this whole like, oh, Arabs hate Jews isn't as big of a deal as people. They're just making it seem like they got every Jew around every. They're probably like, bro, all we want is stability, and America is like, no, what we want is the world. So
My favorite thing is when
The
you
Muslims invented modern mathematics. Before the Muslims, the West, 100 years ago, British intelligence fighting around the Muslims. They were like, it was a Riviera, man. The Muslims went rock and roll and champagne, baby.
There was a really funny post where some liberal guy said that Zoran Mamdani has started teaching children Arabic numerals in schools, and then a bunch of conservatives got really angry, saying like, this is disgusting. I can't believe it's come to this. Why are they doing this? Because they don't know that Arabic numerals are literally the numbers that we use. They're just literally numbers. Yeah.
it's just people looking for rage bait with that when it comes to that kind of stuff.
No, wait, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, it's because conservatives are so easy to rage bait, is why.
The Middle East had high IQ, so the inbreeding.
Yeah.
We're not being mean about it. Like now they're like it's
Yeah,
dangerous.
they a lot of cousin marriage and stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Arranged marriages and stuff. Yeah.
I first heard this from the Joe Rogan podcast. He was talking with Gavin McInnes about it, and Gavin was talking about how there's
And that got banned.
They deleted
that episode. Yeah. But I looked it up. I'm like, this is the weirdest thing about that era in the 2010s is that information that was readily available on government websites would get you banned off social media. Like, I can't remember who posted FBI crime stats. You post FBI crime stats. Tommy Robinson did it. Twitter banned him. They like gave him
That's the
strike.
thing is Trump isn't perfect, and I bitch about him all day. But we should bitch about Democrats way more because we have to remember where we were. About what are they going to do when they get back in power?
Oh, well, Luke made a really good point about what's going on. Do you want to make that point about the trap?
Yeah, no, I believe the little bit of free speech that we have is essentially the cheese on the rat trap that all of us are now engaging in, and it's going to close behind us. As of course, a lot of people are using it to its fullest potential, but I see it as a trap. That's what it feels like to me. That's what my
Free speech is a trap? Is that what he's saying? What?
instincts feel like, because I saw how the internet was all the way in 2006.
Yep.
I saw the trap. I talked about the trap all the way in 2008. I said, we're going to lose our free speech. We lost our free speech.
We lost our free speech under Obama.
Yep.
We are taking Trump for granted with those problems. What is going to happen when the Democrats get back in? We should be talking about, we're free now. Oh, I'm so bad on YouTube. But the point is, imagine when they get back. I'm taking a piss. I'll be back.
Yes.
When they
so,
get back.
so Luke made an interesting point, and the way I described it was the door's been open and everyone rushes through and all starts clamoring and having a conversation. Then when the Democrats win back power in the midterms, start filing investigations and subpoenas, start putting pressure on these big tech companies, the big tech companies are going to say, close the doors again. Well, guess what? We're all standing outside now.
But what other
so they're
option
going to cut off the space. And how does that really manifest? They're going to say, guys, we are banning any instance of A, B, C, and D. Then they're going to go to your channel and they're going to say, you have 300 videos that break the rules. You're deleted.
Exactly. And they're going to know exactly who to target.
Okay, I feel like it's, fear-mongery to frame it that way. I'll tell you what's going to happen because it's already happening. The government is just going to either buy the companies they can, like TikTok. They're going to have their friends buy them, like Larry Ellison with TikTok. Or they're going to pressure YouTube to change the way the algorithm works, which they've already done, by the way. Trans hate is no longer unmonetizable on YouTube, for example.
They're going to know exactly who to take out, and they're not going to do it step by step slowly like they did the first time around. It's just going to be one day, overnight, everything's gone. That's why I'm telling my people to sign up to my members group, to my email list right now, because one day all of us are just going to lose our speech. And
in all seriousness, sign up for my Patreon. I would really appreciate that. I do worry about YouTube, whatever. They've already kind of killed my reach in the algorithm completely. It would mean a lot if you signed up on my Patreon. You don't even have to donate. You can just follow me there for free.
Yeah, but
nothing that we could do.
They're also probably going to, before that happens, knock on your door and lead you away in cuffs. Then ban you an hour later.
Please.
To be that. It might not even need to even go there, because once they deplatform you, right? Once they debank you, you can't even exist in this kind of society.
Let me ask you guys this question. What would happen if one day tons of prominent anti-war, anti-uniparty individuals, because this could theoretically be left or right, technically, just didn't wake up. Let's say 73 high-profile personalities with millions of followers that talk politics, populist level stuff. So even some lefties, some conservatives, some moderates, they did not wake up. And then something happens where they're it looks like there was a mass poisoning, someone targeted the meals of these individuals in the days prior and killed them, and then they died.
Normies would go about their day.
And killed them, and then they died. Okay.
Normies would go about their day. It would be considered a major scandal that, because it affected left and right, no one would know anything. Like there would be nothing about it. They'd be like, wow, this is the craziest serial killing spree we've ever seen, and we have no evidence. And I got to be honest, normies would go about their day, and within 3 or 4 weeks, it would be a thing that happened that sometimes get brought up. Because, I mean, let's do this. Let's talk about 9/11. Not in depth, but just bringing up 3,000 people lose their lives that day. And there were years of questions about investigations, about weird things that weren't answered for, like why did they get rid of all of the metal? They shipped it off. Thermite potentially being found, or at least molten steel. Now, I'm not asserting anything about what did or didn't happen, but my point is, whatever happened after a couple of years, everyone said that's now the past. So my point is not that it will happen.
I'm sorry. You think people put 9/11 in the past? What are you smoking?
It's more of a thought exercise of if overnight, look, let's be real. If a roving band of Antifa went and just massacred a bunch of conservative personalities, yeah, you'd have a real problem. But if 70 high-profile individuals who do this kind of news and challenge the media all got poisoned within a day or two of each other, it would be major news. People would be freaking out. There would be some hearings. And then 6-7 months later, people would be talking about something else again.
I mean, that's the public consciousness. Yes, that's how it works. First time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your theory is not wrong. Look what's happening in the United Kingdom. Look what's happening when people...
It's over. Bro, the UK is over.
Yeah,
I can't believe this. We got to invade.
Yeah, Germany.
Oh my God, the UK is over. It's so absurd. He talked about this previously, but basically his belief is that the UK is changing their currency to have animals on the currency and like wildlife instead of like royal figures. And this is the end of everything, apparently. It's insane. These people are fucking insane.
Yeah, Canada too. If we're going to liberate some people, the people of Canada need to be liberated extensively.
When you mention what's going on in the UK and what's going on in Germany and stuff, like in Germany and France, the government is actually outlawing the parties that are pushing back. They're outlawing the FD. They're outlawing like Le Pen.
They're outlawing ideas and thoughts.
Well, let me pull this story up. We've got this from the AP. This is massive news, ladies and gentlemen. The United Kingdom, it's done. There's 2 big stories. First, Britain is ejecting hereditary nobles from Parliament after 700 years.
Why is that bad? They're getting rid of like the kingdom or the royals or whatever. Why is that bad? I don't understand. I thought here in America we were against having kings and stuff.
This is the historic 700-year system. Now, by all means, I do think there's reason to criticize a system where you inherit basically a Senate seat. It's basically how it works. You got the House of Lords, and you got the House of the Commons, or House of Commons. And the Commons is like your congressional reps, and the Lords is like your senators. And I actually completely disagree with this. I actually think the U.S. should repeal the 17th Amendment and bring our senators back to appointments by state-level politicians. This is a little bit different because you inherit your political seat, which is kind of weird if you think about it. That being said, whatever your view is on it, this is a long-standing 700-year tradition that ties the modern political infrastructure of Britain to its history, and they are getting rid of it. On top of that, they are getting rid of Winston Churchill on their banknotes, among other English leaders, and replacing them with hedgehogs and beavers.
So I don't understand. Why do you give a shit?
I am not kidding.
Perfect.
This is the end of the UK. There's no other way to explain it.
How is this the end of the UK? Are you kidding me? Okay, I've got to grab this clip. Anyway, that is insane. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I just don't know what to do to help these people.